Welcome back. Well, we're trying to find out what we're doing here in this desert. And there's a guy over there in front of the trailer, so let's see if he can help us. Well, there he is. Well, let's see what happens.
Hey, welcome. So, I'm Zandi. I probably know more about why you're here than you do. Don't worry about it. You felt drawn here, just like the others. Now, I'm not really here to give you answers, just to give you help and get you started. She's left a message for you in the cleft. Listen to it well. Follow her. Find the journeys. And then enter the tree. Oh, and check with me if you need help.
Well, that's all Zandi has to say. And he's not much more help. Note, by the way, that this is not the same Zandi whose name is on the sign. This is not Elias Zandi. This is Jeff Zandi, Elias's son. Elias was one of the people who originally discovered the Dunny Cavern back in 1988. But he died in 1996. This is his son. His son has apparently been out here for a while because tires on his trailer are flat. On the back of the trailer we find another one of these cloths. Well, Zandi wasn't particularly helpful, but he did give us some advice. Apparently someone has left a message for us somewhere, and we need to find journeys, whatever those are, and enter the tree. Well, hopefully we'll find out more about those things when we look around. Here we see, looks like a windmill. Let's see if we can start that moving. But unfortunately the answer is no. And this looks like the cleft that Zandi was talking about. Now, for those of you who have read the novel Mist, the Book of Atrus, they might recognize this cleft. This is where Atrus lived with his grandmother Anna when he was a child. Yes, Anna and Atrus lived here in the desert until Gen, Atrus' father, came and picked up Atrus and took him into Dunny. They actually used sort of a side passage into the great shaft that was created by an earthquake through this volcano here. We won't be going through there. We will be going into the cleft. As we know from Riven, Gen left Atrus to be raised by Anna after he was born. So now we are in the cleft and we see some bridges and some water down there. We use first person view to look around a little bit more. There's some doors on the other side, one closed and one open. So let's try and get to that open door. Well, that didn't work. Maybe there's some other way. And there is, of course. Here we find another one of those cloths. Still don't know what they're for, but I'll just keep touching them so I don't have to go back later. Notice that every time we touch it, the size of the symbol that lights up is bigger. It indicates how many of the cloths you've already touched. Okay, let's see what else we can find here. There's another room here. And there is a note lying here. This is mainly just what Atrus said during the introduction. Our dearest Jisha, Last night your mother had a dream. We know that some futures are not cast by writer or maker, but the dream tells that Dunny will grow again someday. New seekers of Dunny will flow in from the desert, feeling called to something they do not understand. But the dream also tells of a desert bird with the power to weave this new Dunny's future. We fear such power. It changes people. Yisha, our desert bird, your search seems to take you further and further from us. I hope that what you find will bring you closer. Your father, Atrus. There's also some red writing on this note that says, I will use them to bring me the least. Impossible. Now his burden is mine, and what I have found must be returned. The red writing is actually from Yisha, and while it seems very cryptic right now, it really tells you what Yisha's goals are in this game. But this is not the message that Zandi was talking about, because it's a message from Atrus, and we're looking for a message from a girl, presumably Yisha. And here we find some goggles. Well, I can pick these up, and now I'm wearing them. Unfortunately, now I'll be stuck wearing them until I can change that, which won't be until I finish the desert. I think that those goggles were not there in the original Uru, that you need to have complete Chronicles, or at least the Path of the Shell installed to get them. I think these are Dunny style goggles. Because the Dunny, they lived in the cave under the ground, so they weren't really used to bright light, so whenever they would work somewhere else on another age where you were outside, they would use these goggles to shield their eyes. Well, the rooms we were just in, the two small rooms, they look like sleeping quarters, probably for Atrus and Anna. And this is a larger room, which looks like the main living room. There's a device here, and we can look at it and see some symbols. We can push the button, but nothing happens. Doesn't appear that there's currently any power. Or maybe that windmill we saw has something to do with that, but we couldn't start it. Here's a plank, and if we walk into it, it falls over. There's various objects that you can push around in this game. There's also some symbols on the wall, which look a lot like the symbols on the device. Maybe we'll need to use that later. As well as some schematics. Well, these are not really important in the context of the game. Maybe they refer to things from the novel. I'm not really sure. It's been a long time since I read the novel, so I don't remember it that exactly. Is there anything else here? No? Okay, so... well, there's this tray with various rocks from the desert. I think maybe in the novel Atrus was collecting and cataloging rocks, but I'm not sure. Okay, now we're in what looks like the kitchen. There's a counter here, various bottles and things like that, and over here there's a fireplace. There's a door here which leads back outside, but we cannot open it currently. And here we find a pole, which might be connected to that windmill we saw. And the lever, which we can pull, which releases these clamps around the pole. So maybe now the windmill can be moved. Before we do that, let's go down to the bottom of the cleft and take a look at this side. Find a pool of water here, as well as another one of those cloths, but at the moment we don't have any way to reach it. And a door in a tree. Well, Zandi said we should enter the tree, so let's see what happens when we touch the symbol on the door. Well, the door doesn't open. We actually need to touch all of these cloths before we can enter the door. But that will be explained somewhat more pretty soon. So now let's see if we can get some power here by climbing out of the cleft and seeing if we can start that windmill. But I will do that in the next video.